Yo. Test 1 2 1 2. 9:04 on the clock. Glad to be with you one more night, one more again. In the place to be, AC Sports Live. Let me make sure I'm doing what I need to do. Yup. YouTube, Twitch, Periscope. Last few days of Periscope. Periscope will not be available much longer. So we're going to rock with you here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch until another avenue presents itself. And I'm here with you, rocking with you. Let's make sure this thing works. Share it to my page. Hey man, is that my pop? Put me a pop in the freezer, Alex.
You did?
That's my 7-Up.
Have a pop in the freezer?
No, that's mine. What pop you got?
I just took one out the bin. The little cup.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Big news today. Somewhat sports related because the sports world watched and waited to see what the verdict was going to be for the George Floyd murder case versus Derek Chauvin. Finally, we get a little bit of justice. Uncle Chuck in the house. We got the conviction. 3 counts. All guilty. The first step towards justice. Finally. I'm not sure how nervous you were, but after I found out it was not going to be a hung jury, that there's indeed a verdict, something inside me just didn't feel good, because I've seen so many times before where our system, I wouldn't even say ours, it doesn't work for us. It usually works for those who it was intended for. But the only time I've seen us actually prevail was the OJ case. When I saw the officers get off for the Rodney King trial, I lost all faith in our judicial system. When I saw them beat him on camera and walk like they were not wrong. So when I saw George Floyd murdered in broad daylight and there being a defense saying it was George Floyd's fault that he was dead, I did not like how that felt. I did not feel very comfortable. However, the jury did their job. The jury came back with a decision that we could live with. We all exhaled for the moment, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. The sentencing still has to happen. I believe he has a maximum of 45 years, but it's very possible he'll get 10, 15, 25. It really depends on how the judge decides to rule. I just know that they did the right thing today, because I know some people are upset with what Maxine Waters said, but I don't think she said anything that was not necessary or true or not true. If we cannot have justice in the judicial system, then we must make noise. We must make our voices heard. We have to make people feel uncomfortable because this is just too much, too frequent, and too far gone for us to let things slide. I mean, we're still seeing these activities to this day. I mean, we just saw Dante Wright killed on accident by a 26-year veteran who has now resigned. We still want her to spend time in prison for the rest of her life because she is too well versed to make that kind of mistake. Now, this young man has a son who now does not have a father because you thought your taser was a gun. You thought your gun was a taser. Very costly mistake. And then you have young Adam Toledo, 13-year-old man, as they are calling him. 13-year-old man. 13. I don't even know where to begin except to say prayers to that family for strength and shalom during this time. The first step towards reform. My hope is, with this guilty verdict, the bad ones will begin to think twice before they do what they've been trained to do. The NFL put out a statement. Today's outcome in the Derek Chauvin trial in Minneapolis does not undo the loss of life. That part. George ain't coming home. George gone. Mr. George Floyd should be here with us today. Our hearts remain with the Floyd family, and we understand the pain, anger, and frustration does not go away, even when justice is delivered. Importantly, even as we identify reasons for hope, we must continue to help move our society forward or toward a more equal and just tomorrow. We're proud to partner with the NFL players and clubs and remain committed to do the important work needed to make positive change in our society. Statement by the NFL. I believe this was the outcome everybody that wants peace, that wants equality, that wants to see a better America. This is the outcome you must be with. You must be on the side that won today. Had it gone the other way, we would see the same mayhem, the same fires, the same destruction as we saw in 1992 in the LA riots after the Rodney King verdict came down. So I believe this was, you would hope the system did what was right by George Floyd, but part of me believes that the system only worked this time because they need to make an example of this one police officer in order to keep the country from going up in flames. I think they made a concerted effort to make sure this time around we didn't have the same outcome as in 1992. Deacon Hill in the house. Praise Yahweh. Historic day. Yes, sir. Henry Art Smith. Praise Yahweh. He's in the house. Amen. Amen. Yes, sir. So, heart is a little bit relieved, but we still have the murderers of Breonna Taylor out there. The men that shot our young man, and now he's paralyzed. They are back on the job. No punishment. So there's a lot of work to be done. So as they say in golf, don't smile at the balls in the hole. We're not going to celebrate. We're going to be appreciative of the outcome. But this was a win for the society. This was a win for the people. And I also believe it was a win for law enforcement, because we keep hearing that they're not all bad. I believe Mike Stafford touched on this on the Time Is Now podcast this morning. If there are this many good apples as opposed to bad apples, Derek Chauvin was definitely a bad apple. Now, the other officers in attendance during the George Floyd murder will have their day in court, I believe, in August. If we indeed have good apples, they should be put out front, allowed to make changes that need to be made if they're indeed good. I know a couple good ones. We have a good one at my church. We have a couple good ones I play ball with. We have a couple good ones that I talk to every day. And I know they would like to see good in their communities. They want to see crime put to a stop. And we're doing our part. We're trying our best to be upstanding citizens. But if I'm going to get pulled over because I have an air freshener hanging from my rear view mirror, or if I'm afraid because my front headlight is out, I have to get it changed immediately for the sake of my life being safe, we still have a long way to go. So keep this lifted up in prayer that real reform will begin. Those who have demerits, who have done wrong by the people, that they'll be dealt with in the courts justly. Rodney Saucy in the house. When you are summoned for jury duty, please go. Everybody's trying to get out of jury duty. So you get people who are willing to put their little agenda in the outcome of these cases. We need objective, well-rounded, level-headed people to help the judicial system work for those who it was not written for. Everyone. Justice for all. A lot of work still to be done, says Deke. For sure, my brother. Most definitely continue. Bright side. The Floyd family received a hefty settlement, which probably was the first admittal of guilt early when they got that. I believe it was $27 million settlement. That was one heck of a life insurance policy, but it should not have been in the first place. So that family still does not get to see their dad, their brother, their uncle, their cousin ever again. He's gone for the negligence of one officer and 3 onlooking officers. And I don't put that much weight on the officers that were brand new on the force and they had to listen to their superior tell them to back off. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, do you jeopardize your job and tackle your superior and lose your job in the first week on the job? I think when it's that bad, it's like training day. You got to go ahead and make that decision. I don't need this in my life. If it's gonna be like this, I didn't sign up for this. And it's a life-changing decision to do the right thing. It really is. When you learn the truth, you gotta walk in the truth. If you see it wrong, you gotta stop the wrong. Otherwise, you're a part of it. So you're gonna get your day in court. You should have done something, but you didn't. You just sat there and watched somebody get killed, so now you're an accessory. It's a cold game. But if you playing, you staying. Cold game. All right, it is 4:20. For all my bud smokers out there, I know y'all having a day. I believe the versus battle was Redman versus Method Man. 2 notorious bud smokers. Y'all be safe out there. Don't get in no trouble. Make Bob Marley proud, but stay out of trouble. I get it. That's a culture. 420. I didn't know what that was for a long time. And I figured out what it was. So, moving on. Glad we got the verdict we wanted. Not going to dwell on it too much. We got some other business to keep an eye on, to protest about. Continue to pressure on your local communities. Continue to pressure your politicians so we can get justice for all. Justice for all. All right, y'all. Did y'all know that D Wade now owns a small share of the Utah Jazz? Minority owner, D Wade. Shout out to D Wade. Ownership, man. This is part of the whole plan that we kept talking about during this whole social injustice movement. What's it going to take for us to get some equality? I believe Jimmy Mack said financially we need to be owners and shakers, and we need to be decision makers and have our own stuff. Well, this is a step towards it. D Wade is now minority owner of the Utah Jazz. Now, why the Utah Jazz? I don't know. I would like to hear from his mouth. But I did not know we had so many former players that are now owners of teams. Grant Hill is a minority owner of the Atlanta Hawks. I didn't know Grant Hill made that much money, but I guess he did, because Grant Hill was the man for a minute. So I guess he does have that kind of bread. Grant Hill, minority owner of the Atlanta Hawks. I did not know the Diesel was minority owner of the Sacramento Kings, the hated ones. If you're a Laker fan, but Shaq owns a piece of the Sacramento Kings. The Diesel. Well, you know, Shaq is probably one of the best businessmen in the history of the NBA. Him and Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. Just business, straight business. And of course, we know MJ is the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets, formerly of the Charlotte Bobcats. So you play for the Hornets, like Melo Ball, you play for your owner, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan signs the checks. That's big time. I doubt we ever see a minority owner in the NFL. What's not going to happen? Sad to say. All right. Last week, we had the Seth Curry versus Steph Curry battle, which turned out to be Big Brother 2.0. Why they get this man mad? I don't think I've ever seen a shooter as hot as Steph Curry right now. This dude right here is cooking like his life depends on it. Did he hit my Sixers for 50? Dang near. Halftime, it was decent. Seth was holding his own. Steph was like, okay, baby brother, this is cute. And he gave him that work. Steph Curry's on a tear, man, right now. That's historical. Now, does it mean anything? Does it make the Warriors as viable of a contender as they are when Clay's playing? No, he can't do this by himself. He needs help. He can score 50 a night, and the Warriors will be still beatable. But what he's doing, man, is historical. You talk about the likes of Kobe Bryant and Wilt Chamberlain. 11 straight 30-point games. It's unprecedented. I don't even think Steph had that in mind this season. When Clay went down, I'm sure the thoughts in his mind were, man, are we ever going to be a contender again? Well, the way he's playing right now, just imagine if Clay was there. You got Wiggins and Oubre. You still got Looney. They would have a pretty good squad. Curry is probably going to be the scoring champion this year. Sorry, Bradley Beal, but the way Curry's playing with this green light, this half-court green light, he's always had the green light. But like right now, that thing is just falling. When you saw him play off the screen the other night and do a left corner sidestep three-pointer off the run, he didn't even get to see the basket. The ball just went up and bottoms. He's not even hitting the rim. He's what you call unconscious. He's the reason why I'm going to get my doctorate degree on the zone. Because right now, that basket looks like a trash can to him. He is knocking it out the park. The joke is he's a role player, that his best days are behind him. And I have to admit, I was one of the ones who said there's no way Steph Curry can play as good as he did during the dynasty. Your body must break down a little bit. I think his days were behind him as far as being the best shooter in the game. I thought Dame Lillard was taking over, but I have been corrected. Steph Curry, you are the man. You are the man. Now, is he the best point guard in the world? He's the best shooter, man. I don't know if you can even call him a point guard. I don't know. Is Steph Curry getting assists? Is Steph Curry clutch? As hot as Steph Curry is, here's my haterism. I'm going to start calling these haterism. Here's my haterism before we start giving him the crown. These shots don't really mean a whole lot. Don't get mad at me. Where are the Warriors in the standings? I think these shots are shots that we expect him to shoot. He just happens to be hot. So the Warriors, let's see where the Warriors are. All right, the Warriors are 500, 29-29. The Warriors are in the Pacific. They're in 4th place, out of the playoff picture by a ton. Can I call him clutch? He's doing what he always does. He hits shots, but are these shots must make shots? Jimmy Nelson in the house. What up, bro? Best combo guard ever? Definitely best combo guard ever. That's hard too. Best shooting combo guard ever. Because I still can't say Curry would have done what AI did with that Sixers team for as long as he did it. Could I put Curry over AI? He has championships, but we know the situation. He had a lot of help. He had a good team. AI had plumbers and coaches playing with him. But I hear you, Mike G. Combo guards. That's what we hear. His shot selection is horrible, but he makes them. Jimmy Nelson Jr. He makes them shots, man. Kenny Wright, please help me. He's fighting for the playoffs, though. Those shots mean everything. My man. Those shots mean everything because he's carrying that team. But are those clutch shots? It's playing games now, so what? 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th place to play in? Does he want to play in? Does Steph Curry and them want to play in the playoffs? Do they want to continue with the squad they got? Or does he want to shut it down and wait for Clay? It looks like he wants to play. He wants to make the playoffs without Clay. Make that statement. It makes a lot of sense. He's healthy. He's feeling good. Why not? That's where the play-in games are good. Now, you heard about last week when Luka and the owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, weren't happy about that play-in game situation. Why are we playing play-in games? We played 75 games, 82 games, and we still got to play more games. Get out the top 6. Get up to the top 6. We ain't got to play a play-in game. Sixer team was better. Better than what? The Golden State Warriors? When AI was with the Sixers team with Eric Snow, Aaron McKee, Larry Hughes, Dikembe Mutombo. Who else was on that team? AI was like their only offensive option. Even though Mutombo would score 25 on putbacks and things. I'm going to have to go back and watch some film there, Mike G. AI had Eric Snow. Well, Kobe had Smush Parker. Ooh, watch out. Watch out. But they voted it in. Who voted it? The Players Union? I don't know, man. Who voted for that? I know LeBron didn't vote for that. Did LeBron vote for that? That's who we need to add. LeBron, what you think? The King. When the King spoke, when the King speaks, like when the King said we playing, if the King said we hooping, we hooping. The King might be in that playing game if he messing around. The Lakers messing around. They got 15 games left. I don't know. The King, I got AD on my fantasy team. He better come back balling, man. NPR in the house. What up, bro? Oh, Monarchs, man. Y'all put them things on Bosco last week, man. That wasn't even cool, man. Why y'all do St. John Bosco like that? Y'all cold, man. The Mavs, where the Mavs at? Are they 7th seed? Are they right in the middle of it? Where the Mavs at? That might be why they're talking crazy. The Mavs and Luka. Remember the big preseason? They said the Mavs are going to be the top team in the West. What happened with that? They just got beat by the Kings. The Mavs are 30-26. The Mavs are in 7th place. They're going to be in the playoff. That's why they're not happy about it. AI had a bunch of defenders because he was a ball dominant. The roster worked for him. Yeah, it did. And as soon as they bought into Larry Brown's system, it worked. But only was like lightning in a bottle, and they met up against them Lakers. Who's my Mount Rushmore top shooting guards? I don't know. Who y'all got? Shooting guards. I'm going to have to do research. Shooting guards. MJ, Kobe. See, that's hard, man. Combo guards and shooting guards. Because do you put AI in the same category as Jordan and Kobe? Or do you put Curry, AI, Kyrie, John Wall, James Harden, those shooting point guards, Dame Lillard, shooting guards? Is it a separate position, or is combo guard now the thing? I'm going to go to Kenny Wright on this one, what he comes back with. That's a good one, though. Jimmy Nelson. Jimmy Nelson, the junior. 73-9 with Steph as the leader. He led that team. Or did Draymond lead that team? And Clay was the best player on that team. Steph was the best scorer on that team. You can't argue either way. That was a good team. Steph might have been the superstar. He might have been Michael Jackson. But Clay was not Tito. CNQ, Anthony Eric Carter, AC from LA, Collective Podcast, Rodney Saucier, Trey Hobson, even though Trey Hobson can't get up at 7 a.m. and join the show on Saturday mornings. I ain't seen Trey Hobson in a month. Where he at? Where he be? They don't know who we be. Remember when they said the Lakers would be a top team in the West? If everybody stays healthy, they are. If they get healthy right now, they're the best team in the NBA. But health is wealth. The best ability is availability. I don't like AD's injury. It scares me. It really does. Tender Love Davis, the Tender Love injury. It scares me. Mark Paul, should have seen what my freshmen did to their freshmen. Someone say Tyson versus Frank Bruno. Y'all beat him like that? I heard they said y'all cheated. Somebody said y'all had a couple of upperclassmen playing freshmen. That's what I heard. Heard y'all was doing dirty, and y'all had to take a team picture and show who played. Y'all had more people than most of the varsity players that I've seen this year when I was doing film for different high school varsity teams. Y'all had better looking team as a freshman unit than a lot of these varsity teams I've seen. Mike G said it's a new position. It's evolved, man. I think Steph Curry can be given that title of the revolutionary who changed the position forever. You walk past half court, you jacking up shots. You wouldn't have Trae Young if there was no Steph Curry. Dame Lillard wouldn't have the green light to shoot from the logo if it wasn't for Steph Curry. Steph Curry solidified the combo guard position. Kenny Wright said that's tough. Mount Rushmore of shooting guards. Tough, man. Something you got to research, man. You got to research that. Mike G said, wow. Best team in the NBA? If they're healthy. And healthy right now, that bubble, man. 72-10. Rodman, Kukoc, Pippen, Harper, Phil, and Kerr. MJ. Now, okay, so you're going to compare the season Jordan had with these dudes to the season that Curry had with his dudes. And you say that Curry led that team the same way Jordan led this team. All right, I see the comparison. I still think there's a little bit of Debo, more Debo in Michael Jordan, and that he led the way Draymond led, and he led putting the ball in the cup as far as orchestrating the offense, making sure it worked. I know Curry is the most deadly shooter in that mix, but you have Clay who can shoot just as good and with less dribbles, less touches. Any of these guys gonna score 50? No. Clay can score 60. And then don't talk about when KD came to town. So it's very hard to measure, but it's a good analogy there, Mike G. It's a lot of hybrid basketball nowadays. That's why I was trying to tell my son this morning. He was like, man, I hate playing big, being a center, because everybody's not, nobody's tall anymore. And he's 6'3", 6'4". And I'm like, but you play positionless basketball. Don't worry about playing a big on defense. But on offense, you get the ball in the wing, you do your thing. Go to your bag. I think it's a good thing that you can still play, 3 or 4 positions on defense. And then offensively, within today's offenses, with the 5 outs, with the triangles, you get the ball where you want to get it, and then you get to your spots and you go to work. So we'll see. Luka and Bron aren't really point guards. Y'all think James Harden's a point guard? Because they, just because he has the ball like Westbrook and Harden, them guys are shooting guards, man. Them guys gunning. Them guys getting buckets, man. Draymond probably leads the Warriors in assists. And he's a big. So it's really hard, man. It's hard to measure up these different eras. Come on, big bro. What about what Curry did to OKC down 0-2? I know Curry's great. And I like Steph Curry. I just know what we're seeing right now is probably his greatness magnified. But for some reason, I don't know what it is, man. Something about, I don't know. I'm going to continue to watch it. I hear what you're saying, Mike G. I hear what you're saying. And maybe I'll be convinced. Rodman will have to play his best defense on KD. If you put KD in Rodman's era, I don't think it's that hard at all. Because then he can touch him. Rodman was a little freaky diggy. Rodman will get up in your drawers, man. Them little shorts on. Rodman will be all in your business, making you feel uncomfortable. Remember Magic Johnson came back from the HIV? Rodman was all up in him. He didn't care. Rodman will be in your drawers. Clay's a sidekick defender. Clay is one of the best defenders when healthy. So I think we're sleeping on how good Klay Thompson is. Mark Paul talking about that freshman football team. People start making stuff up after the teams get beat down. We had all freshmen. Some of my freshmen dressed for varsity. That's where it was. So they had the 3 stripes. No other team in Trinity complained but Bosco. So some kids play varsity and freshman. That's a stretch. That's how the rich get richer, man. That's how the rich get richer. Mike G said playmakers like Michael Irvin wearing number 47 at the U. Playmakers, man. Curry doesn't play lockdown defense. And doesn't have to. Neither did AI. I don't even think, after Kobe, I know Westbrook played a little defense early on. John Wall, no. Harden, no. Dame tries a little bit, but he ain't the defensive juggernaut. Harden said it best, man. Harden said, I don't get paid to play defense. Jimmy Mack in the house. Power to the people, my brother. You got to have an episode, man, of the Sucker Punch this week. You got to make a guest appearance. You got to go ahead and come to the people and give them what they want, Jimmy Mack. It's a monumental week. You got to do it, man. AI led the league in steals. All right, you don't have to be a lockdown defender to get steals. If you know how to play passing lanes and you're a good defensive back in football, that's easy. I average 3 steals a game, and I would average more steals than I had points when I played at Poly. I got in the game, I got steals. But I was also a lockdown defender because I went straight from playing cornerback in football to playing, 2 or 3. And Coach Palmer said, "Don't shoot the ball, just play defense." I didn't have no shooting freedoms. I could just go for dunks and play defense. And then I missed a dunk versus Compton, and Coach Palmer said, "Don't even dunk the ball no more. Just play defense." So I lost my love for basketball and went straight to football and track. And now I'm playing Sundays with my fellas, Mike G, Kenny Wright, getting balled up. Kenny Wright called me Oubre on Sunday. I hit a left hand ugly layup. Hey man, I had my Kyries on. I was feeling good. Had me a couple of buckets. Feeling good like Mike G, knocking them down. All right, so the MVP race, they got Harden at 5. The number of votes, and now that he's injured, I think it's a wrap for Harden. He just got hurt again in practice as he was trying to rehab that injury. And as old as you get, the older you get, them hamstrings go from 3 to 4 weeks to 6 to 8 weeks, because you figure James Harden ain't the slimmest dude in the world. He ain't the most lean dude in the world. He gets chunky. And the more weight you have, I know from experience, you pop them hammies, it's hard to go full speed. Anything you do full, like a layup or reaching for the rock, can aggravate that hammy again. Because I popped both of mine. And most time I was a little bit overweight. I might have been 205 playing, trying to play safety, trying to get my weight up so I can be a bigger hitter. And I popped that hamstring, so I had to come back down to 195. And one time I was trying out for the XFL. I was about 200, doing good. They wanted to just run 40s after the workout. Pop that hammy. It ain't no joke. When you pop that hammy, you're done. So right now, I believe James Harden has a strained hamstring, not necessarily torn. Because if it's torn, they got 15 games left, he might come back in the middle of the playoffs. As big and heavy as James Harden is. So I don't necessarily need to say who I think will win the East. The Sixers. Because the Nets won't be full strength. Because KD has that banged up knee. They bang knees. That's a couple games. James Harden hurt again. I think the Sixers going to go ahead and win in the East. Number 4, they got Dame. I had Dame number 1, but he's hurt. He's not hurt. He took the night off. And what Steph Curry's doing is kind of overshadowing what Dame has done all year. He has 283 votes at the moment. That puts him in number 4. Most of his votes are at 3rd place. They got the Greek Freak, who is a reigning two-time MVP. He has 375 votes. He has no first place votes right now. So going back, Dame has 2. Harden has 1 first place vote. I believe the sports writers are the ones that vote. Joel Embiid has 5 first place votes. He just came back. To me, he's the MVP. But what's going to hurt him is that time he had off, which would probably let it fall to Jokic. He has 90 first place votes. It's going to be very hard to overcome that deficit. I would love to see the process get it, but Jokic ain't missed no games. He has the majority of the voters. It would take an injury. It would take a complete bust of the last 15 games for Jokic not to win the MVP. And it's sad because nobody would get to see him play. I hardly even get to see Denver play. They never on TV. And now with the injury to Jamal Murray, he has to really do big things. I believe he scored 48, 15, and 8 the other night. So he's putting up numbers. Denver's in the mix. I believe top 4 in the West. Oh, the Clippers came back and won. Ain't that something? Paul George. Why is Paul George not in the MVP race? Paul George's been killing it. I know the most improved player is Julius Randle. And many people believe he deserves a couple of MVP votes because he's been killing it. What happened? What's happening with all these former Lakers going elsewhere and balling? Brandon Ingram balling too. Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, balling. 44, 10, and 7. Rumble, young man Rumble. UCLA, baller, Johnny Juzang is going to test the waters with the NBA, but he's not hiring an agent. So he might be coming back. If he doesn't get, who said, I think Kenny Wright told me that on Sunday last week. Said if you're a lottery pick, you got to go. If he's a lottery pick, he's gone. But not hiring an agent gives him an opportunity to see where he goes. I'm wondering what is his bottom line. Like, what is the lowest he'll go? It has to be lottery, or I'm going back to school. I don't know if he can get any. I know he can get better, but I'm not sure if his draft stock can go any higher. He's kind of thin, but he's a scorer, man. That kid knows how to get his spots. He's unconscious. He can care less about your feelings. He's going to shoot the ball. And I've seen him work out. He works out at the same gym as my son. And he works hard. And he is relentless. And he likes to go. He can run all day. I believe he'll be a good pro. If he stays, though, UCLA will have one heck of a team. One heck of a team. Kenny said I was balling. I appreciate that, bro. I'll be out there getting my cardio. I went for mine all morning. Y'all funny, man. I appreciate you. These old knees, man. Where is CP on my MVP list? CP3 should be passing up James Harden this week because James Harden ain't gonna be playing no more this year. Them gimpy hammies, man. Them CP3 is doing it, man. Only problem with that is you can't really tell who's more important to that team, Booker or CP3. And that's kind of the argument with the Sixers is Embiid. They were balling without Embiid. You take Jokic off the Denver Nuggets, it might be a lottery team. Greek Freak, you take the Greek Freak off the Bucks. What you got? You take Dame off the Blazers. What you got? You got CJ McCollum and a couple of guys, but now Harden, you got KD and Kyrie. So I don't know. Dame hamstring too, but Dame ain't that heavy. And I think he has a really good chance of mending because he's not heavy. Them heavy cats, man, them hammies, bro. I know exactly. I'm a hamstring expert. I tell y'all the story about my hamstring. We had 2 games left. We were gonna play against Arizona and USC. I popped my hamstring. I believe it was Cal, previous week, and we had to play Arizona. I popped that hamstring. I don't want to miss my last 2 games. I'm a senior. UCLA versus Arizona, UCLA versus SC. Hamstring, 46 weeks. You done? Nah, bro. There has to be something you can do. Went to Mr. Miyagi. He put them hands on me. Put the acupuncture needle inside the hamstring, did his magic. I played that Saturday, played that next Saturday, didn't miss no time, pulled hamstring. But I was not as heavy as I was prior to the injury. I lost 10 pounds, got that weight off my hamstring, got back in there full speed, didn't miss no time. Worked out just fine. Still ran a 4.4 for the combine, still jumped 40 inches from my vert, still ran sub 5 my shuttle. Hamstrings is all good, but that weight, man, that extra added weight, you don't want that on them hammies, bro. So that one time CP3 pulled that hamstring in the playoffs. CP3, all that booty. He got too much booty. He's too heavy. Lose that weight. Make it light on yourself, man. I'm trying to tell you. All right, this one came down my feet, man. My 2 cents. All right, everybody talking about the GOAT. Tom Brady. Pat Mahomes, the next GOAT. Here goes Tom Brady's response. Nah, I think actions always speak louder than words. Tom Brady responding to the Royals' Twitter caption, words speak louder than actions. After Salvador Perez says Patrick Mahomes is the best. Why is Tom Brady even responding to Salvador Perez? Here comes Kermit. Mahomes, I guess we will see in 20 years. Pat Mahomes thinks 2 decades should sort out the NFL quarterback GOAT question. Hey, man, you're going to have to win 8 tubs. You're going to have to win 8 Super Bowls to pass up Tom Brady. You're going to need some help because that Super Bowl, brother, you look real pedestrian when you didn't have no help. You're going to have to get them offensive linemen paid and have you one heck of a run because Tom Brady got rings. That's hard to do. All right, Dave was talking about some super teams, man, in football, the original football, soccer for us novices. Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, the Arsenal, Tottenham, they were all going to group up and make a super league in football. They backed out. So then I was thinking about, what if, this is probably a 1585 topic for Friday, what if we got rid of some conferences in football, got rid of some conferences in basketball, and put the powers together and made one super conference? Who would be in it? 10 teams from football, 10 teams from basketball. Who are the powers to make these leagues? And would those leagues be good for football? Would those leagues be good for basketball? And even go even further, high school. Right now we got the Trinity League, Mark Paul Robinson in Mater Dei, where you guys are poaching all of our players from the city to come play in Orange County. And I get it. Not mad at you. Not happening in my house though. I'm city section all day. Southern section all day. Public school all day. I believe you can get it done. If you want to get out, you can get out no matter where you go. But if you did have a super league, who's in it? Research activated. I have to research that, man. Zion got his own shoe, y'all. Zion ones. I believe did I pull them in? Let me see. I took a screenshot. Let me see if I can find it so we can take a look at these sneakers. Where'd they go? I thought I did. Desktop. All right, here we go. The Zions. All right, I don't know. They look like the Jordans from 2003. We used to have, when I played arena football in 2003, we had the Jordans. I forgot what number they were, but they were the Jordans that you have the flap on top of them that you can remove it, and they would be one color. We had the gold ones because our team colors were green and gold. So we had the gold J's, and that's what these remind me of. The front and then the back having a different material. I guess they're cool. I guess the colorful ones, I guess, are cool. The Z, I get it. Will I be buying a pair? I don't know. I've tried my share of LeBrons, and none of the LeBrons feel good to me. They've always hurt my feet. And the recent Michael Jordan sneakers are not like the Michael Jordan sneakers we grew up on. I mean, we played actual games in Jordan 3s in 1989. Our whole team had the blue Jordan 3s, and they felt like heaven. The Jordans I have now, I can only wear for a couple of hours and then my feet start hurting. So I'm wondering what these feel like. The CP3s feel great, Jordan brand. I have not tried the Mellows. They look like boats. But the Zions, I imagine they're constructed pretty sturdily because Zion is the biggest athlete on the Jordan brand. And what he did to those sneakers at Duke, when he busted straight through them, I believe the engineers are on their P's and Q's to make sure Zion has a shoe that won't explode on him. So in that regard, these are probably some kicks we can wear outside at Bayshore on Sunday mornings, 7 to 9 p.m. 7 to 9 a.m. Plug for the morning crew at Bayshore, Long Beach. So Zion joins Westbrook, Melo, and CP3. He's probably the youngest person ever to be on Jordan brand. Young Bull, keep doing your thing. I thought this was funny, man. Boban with his 4-inch vertical, getting it in. You ring. All right, man. My sports flick. Man, Mookie need to get healthy, man. Mookie was out. Mookie is out. And luckily, the Dodgers won today, 1-0 with 2 hits. Westchester in basketball. Westchester in basketball. All right, I'm watching Muck City, y'all. I'm not sure if you've seen Muck City. It's been out for a while, but I did not have HBO Max back in the day. Now I have HBO Max. Muck City, about the Pahokee Blue Devils and the Glade Central Raiders. 2 storied programs that put out mad NFL players. Still not as many as Long Beach Poly. I'm going to keep putting that out there. Not as much as the Funk, but they have their share. Anquan Bolden, Santonio Holmes. They have some ballers that come out of the muck. Cool documentary. Much of the same rival season leading up to a showdown at the end. I haven't got that far yet. One team is doing well. The other team is not doing so well. Jesse Hester coaches one of the teams. DJ Bolden, Anquan Bolden's brother, coaches the other team. And Anquan Bolden's brother, DJ Bolden, is coaching the Pahokee Blue Devils, and they're not doing so hot. They've been pretty bad for a couple years, and he's taking the team over from scratch. He has to change the culture, which is something I'm always interested in. How is that going to happen? He even had a hater coach on the staff. He had to figure out who was a hater, spreading rumors and things. Coach Jesse Hester has a better program at Glade Central. Team is doing a lot better, have a better team. I believe I'm on episode 3. Getting good. Muck City on HBO Max. Check it out. And I finally got a chance to see Inside Story, the Inside the NBA show starring Ernie Johnson, Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny the Jet Smith. This right here made me want to get back in TV, man. This documentary made me want to get back in TV when I worked at Fox Sports West, Fox Sports 1. As I'm working as an editor, I worked on the NFL pregame show, UFC Fight Night, and America's pregame. And the camaraderie of the control room, the camaraderie of the stage hands, the camaraderie of the actual talent. When they come in, you dap them up, you eating with Gary Payton, you sitting around with Daniel Cormier, you talking trash with Frank Thomas, and you sitting around having a good time, man, and you just forget about how big and great these dudes were, and you just part of a team. But I saw in the Inside Story the way they all contribute and the way they all come together and they are able to be themselves, man. I was so intrigued, borderline envious of that opportunity to be in that family, from the camera operators to the set designers. They all have a role and it works. It's the best show on TV. I can't wait to see it after every game on Thursdays. And the proof's in the pudding. The Tuesday show is trash. Shaq and Candace Parker and Dwayne Wade, no chemistry, man. It's like the hardest thing to watch. And then they have a guest host every week, and it doesn't work. But when you put Ernie, Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny together, and you have that Shaq and Charles about to fight every episode, that makes for good TV, man. So it's a great little 4-part documentary. I laughed. I almost cried because they went there with Ernie Johnson's cancer battle. They went there with Kobe Bryant's untimely death. They went there with Craig Sager's battle with cancer. It's a deep show, man. It's a deep documentary. It is also on HBO Max. So HBO Max done came with it, man. HBO Max done came with it. Nah, man. D-Wade. I don't think TV is D-Wade's thing. I'm glad he bought a piece of the Jazz because that might be better for him. Just be an owner, do some commercials with Gabrielle, but yeah, he's not a TV personality. He's pretty whack. But then again, Shaq was whack for a while too, and Shaq found his groove. Even though Shaq is hilarious, but Shaq and the Fool might have saved his career. Shaq and the Fool is probably the best segment on TV. Mike Stab. Oh man, I thought you was on here, Mike. It might have been my man Mike G was on here. Hey man, better late than never. Check the replay. You good, bro? I gave you a shout out earlier, brother. Time is now. Check it out. Anchor, Apple Music, anywhere you got podcasts. All right, y'all. That's my time, and I'm gonna go find me something to eat. Me and my son are guys' night out for this week. My wife is back east with my daughter at Howard University. HU, you know. So we over here roughing it, just eating meat, no sides. Meat and soda pop, getting fat. At least he's practicing every day. I had to get on that bike earlier today so I could eat my meat and sandwich. My meat and soda pop. Well, Mike say Shaq is still whack. It's all about Shaq and the Fool. So, as dry as Shaq is, I think it's good because he can bring Charles back down to earth. And Shaq and the Fool is the best segment on TV to me. I love Shaq and the Fool. I love when they find the coach cutaway. Like the coach is really mad about that play just had. That's editing, y'all. Don't let that fool you. D-Wade and Meta World Peace need to hook up. Meta World Peace need his own show. Meta. All right, here's a show I would pay to see. Meta World Peace, and Aqib Talib. Put them together on the show. Now that's some rough broadcasting right there. Big brother Dwight Smith in the house. Some chicken. You know I got some chicken. I got two kinds of chicken in there, Dwight. I got barbecue chicken and chicken cacciatore. You know I got some chicken, man. The king of chicken. King of chicken. My cousin, D Strong. Back in Mashantucket, New London, Connecticut. Hometown, home team in the house. Be careful out there at night. I don't trust it, man. Waiting for them sentencing tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? The sentencing is important. And that kind of goes to my, Mike G said, get some veggies and some water. I got my veggies from my juicer. I got my carrots. I got my spinach. I got my kale, my celery. But I'm going to sweeten that thing up with some apples and some oranges. I got them, man. I just am not ready to cook anything. I don't have the energy and want to. We in here roughing it, man. Like guys do. We should be eating TV dinners, doing it big. Just watching film, game film, eating meat. Eating meat and drinking soda pop. No excuses on Sunday. My wife flies in on Sunday, so it depends on what time she gets in. I might not make it, man. If I'm late to the airport, she's gonna kill me. Good thing is she comes into LA, Long Beach Airport. It's so much more convenient going to Long Beach Airport, man. Shaq and Charles going at it is TV gold. I like when they're really about to fight. I like when Shaq gets real mad. That's when I watch. When Shaq gets real mad, that's when I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. That one time they had the shot clock for their takes, and Chuck would go over, and Shaq was like, no, Nah. He went over, make him do it again and give me my full time. Nah. Before I come over there and punch you in the mouth. And I was like, wait a minute. I kind of feel that. I kind of feel like that's real. What's the name of the show with Ocho Cinco and B. Marsh? I Am Athlete. And Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall has no chill. Brandon Marshall should have a show with Gilbert Arenas. No chill with Gil. And Brandon, I'm going to argue, even if I'm wrong, Marshall. If you didn't see that show where they were arguing about NBA contracts and NFL contracts, you feel bad for the man. He's screaming at the top of his lungs and he's absolutely wrong. Deacon said, I had dirt dogs tonight. that sounds unhealthy, Deep. Yes, sir. Always in spirit. Always, man. If I'm not there, you know, man. It's a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, then back to 1. That was good, man. That's on that Inside Story, too. That whole story, man. Yeah, Gilbert Arenas and Brandon Marshall will be something to watch. All right, man. Y'all be easy. Y'all be safe. With our minor victory tonight, or this today, as we get to exhale for a little bit and see our communities and our society see a little bit of change. Y'all stay on their heads. Do not be quiet. Continue to bark. Continue to speak your minds about the social justice movement. The verdict comes down tomorrow. Sentencing for the verdict. We want to see justice there as well. Not no 10 years Club Med like The Sopranos. We want to see 40 years. Life for life. Nobody deserves to die in this situation, but a precedent must be set so others would get some act right. I'm about to watch Training Day just because. You do dirt, you get dirt. You think y'all can do this to me? But back to the reality of it all. We saw what we should have seen today. I'm just glad they didn't try to charge him with first-degree murder. He would have walked. But second degree, third degree, manslaughter are just in this situation. In no way, form, or fashion should George Floyd been on trial. But that's the way our system is ran. This was about Derek Chauvin. This is about the other officers in attendance that watched. We want to see justice served. And we also want to see justice served for Breonna Taylor. We want to see justice served for Dante Wright, for the young man, the young Latino man that was, they killed him, man, he was 13, Adam Toledo. He's gone. Orlando Castillo. All the people that have been killed. The young man that was paralyzed. Keep talking. Keep protesting. Keep making noise. Don't shut up. I applaud Maxine Waters. We must stay unified. We must continue to make noise in order for this to continue in the trajectory that we've seen today in a positive way towards equality. If tonight's verdict would have been the other way, you would have seen this country on fire. Instead, we see some peaceful protests, some minor celebrations, and the George Floyd family can at least say his death was not completely in vain. We will see some social change from this, because if I know I'm going to serve 40 years in prison, if I kill an unarmed black man, I would think twice. Hopefully that's the sentiment by some of these bad, crooked cops. And hopefully they continue to be exposed as we continue to pray that things get better in this country. I think it was a good day. I really exhaled when I heard that verdict. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging with your boy. We're probably going to be on Friday, 1585 show, 9 p.m. Recapping sports, a little bit of social, a little bit of social media, whatever's out there. Appreciate y'all. Oh, man. Big Dre in the house. He said a 15-year-old girl got killed today by a cop. That's what we're talking about, man. Unnecessary. I wonder what the excuse will be for this one. Man, that's crazy, Big Dre. Pamela Hudson. Wow. Michaela Bryant, 15 years old, shot 4 times in the chest. Why? Because they think they can. Derek Chauvin gets 40 years, they'll think twice. All right, y'all. May Yahweh continue to bless you richly. Keep this stuff lifting up in prayer. I'm gonna holler at y'all next time, man. Shalom, shalom. Wow. She called for protection and she got killed. Wow. All scary cops don't even